Hello, do you like New Japan Pro Wrestling? Are you a Shin Nihon freak? If so, check out the Super J-Cast with Joel and Damon on the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network.
And even if you fucking hate New Japan Pro Wrestling, listen to the Super J-Cast anyway. Not just for our great show reviews, analysis, and pastrami sandwiches, but there's also usually some dick jokes somewhere in the obligatory opening 30 minutes of absolute nonsense we chat about every single week. That's the Super J-Cast for all the best talk about New Japan Pro Wrestling, crisps, and pornography.
This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
Here we go! Kiss me like a love song. So that mama call me. Whoa, whoa, kimi kata omoi. Koi ga hashiri dashita ra.
You're listening to the Emerald Flow Show on the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network.
Welcome to episode 99 of the Emerald Flow Show. We're a podcast on the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network. You can listen to us on all of your favorite apps. Give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, and you can go to voicesofwrestling.com/donate to donate to the show. And this is the big 99th episode, but we have plans for a 100th episode, and because Paul will finally be back from Japan, so we'll get the full debrief. But still a lot has happened this month, so we need to have another episode soon before the end of the month. And I'm very happy to welcome back Dylan from the Eastern Lariat.
I'm back again. Boy Wonder, one day after my birthday, in fact. And,
happy birthday.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you so much, Gerard.
I'm also a January baby, but I think you're an Aquarius, though.
That's true.
I'm a Capricorn.
Okay, so you've got the December-January crossover. I've got the January-February crossover a little bit. But yes, this is at the end of the month, obviously, January 27th. A lot of people wish me happy birthday, so I thank you if anybody's listening that did that. But it's good to be back. Like I said it on the episode of the Eastern Lariat we recorded, and it came out earlier today, actually, as we're recording. I feel like I'm the Nightwing of wrestling podcasts. I started out as Robin. I really grew into my own thing. I don't know. Does that make you Batman in this realm that we're at right now? You're the Canadian Batman.
I could never be as serious as Batman.
Yeah. Okay, you don't have his code, I suppose.
Yeah, and as I get older, I could not keep hours like Batman.
Okay, I understand that as well. For sure, but I'm still feeling great. I'm still moving on forward, no matter how many years passed and how many years me and you have known each other as time goes along. So much has happened, and I can't wait to hear episode 100 of the Flow Show. I love what you and Paul have done, and super jealous of him going to Japan, but super hype as well. Can't wait to see what he says when he gets back.
Yeah. So actually, I didn't get a chance to listen to the Eastern Lariat today, which is good because I want to be surprised if there's any crossover from what we talk about. But first, I said I would bring up a few things to surprise you. And since I have you on the show, because you will appreciate this, because you hate it as much as I do, is not Evil leaving New Japan basically confirmation that it fell apart and it didn't work? The House of Torture.
it's confirmation that he's going to make a lot more money in WWE than New Japan.
Okay, but do you think if he was still in the top mix and had won like a couple more IWGP titles, he wouldn't be leaving? I understand that he was there in the money. But it feels like he was getting downcycled before, and he was probably getting frustrated with his act.
See, now both of those
to do with it.
All of those things could be true at the same time, though. But all I'll say is, if I had EO to go to, I don't care. I'd go to Zimbabwe Wrestling if I had to. If it was to be with her, I'll be in any promotion that she needs me to be in. It's crazy that would be a case that maybe there was any kind of power involved with that. I never would have expected that. But yeah, the one thing I question on that is I don't know what they're gonna do with him in WWE. Like what would he possibly do there?
Go to the Wyatt 6.
I didn't even think of that. That would be perfect if that happened. But in terms of House of Torture, I think that what you said does have some juice to it, but they did pretty consistently keep him in the mix. Like now he didn't he wasn't winning titles left and right or anything like that, or world titles left and right, but he did have his very brief run when they turned him originally. He's always been around. I mean, House of Torture, he made the G1 final this year. He was in a super spotlighted match at Wrestle Kingdom. I feel like if he felt that way, it was kind of unjustified. Like a lot of people would have loved to have had his push that he had. Imagine if Ishii was pushed half as much as Evil was.
I just can't help but feel like there's something like if this had more juice to it and was really more successful. Because remember, like they had. People were like Tanahashi was like, okay, we'll do something about this. It just feels like he might still be there because look, he's already been there for a number of years away from EO and everything, right?
Yeah.
So it just seems like there is a few different. He'd still be there if a few different things were done.
But again, we can only speculate on that fact. We are not Evil's best friends. Maybe you are, and I don't know about that. But as I understand it, we are not. So we can only speculate. Again, I think he has a career to be pretty happy about, all things considered. Was the House of Torture successful? No. I think that again, these are all separate things that could all be true simultaneously. Isn't that the beautiful thing about life, and particularly Japanese pro wrestling, that so many things can be true at the same time? But no, the House of Torture was not something I definitely loved, or did I ever think it was super successful. Every time he was in the main event, it wasn't successful. Actually, like pretty much every time that happened. So, and some people will advocate for it and say that they sell a lot of merch and they're over, which is here and there. There were a lot of times actually that House of Torture didn't, there were times you could point to where, yes, there was big heat, as Gato loves so much, but there was also a lot of times where they would just do their same stuff they always do, and it wasn't getting that big of reactions. New Japan Cup last year, when they had everybody doing that, and especially with Doki as champion right now, a junior champion. So just a lot of stuff. For me, that's just not my style of wrestling. And I said this before. Ultimately, this kind of group, it's not like House of Torture reinvented the wheel and did something nobody had ever seen before. This is exactly the same. Like, this was basically a direct continuation of the original Bullet Club with Devitt and stuff, and they kind of pivoted away as time went along from that. And going all the way back to, like, Voodoo Murders. Like, this is basically the same kind of stuff that we saw. So it's not like they're the only group to do this, but I didn't like it with Voodoo Murders. I didn't like it with Bullet Club. I didn't like it with Oedo Tai and Stardom. I'm not going to like it now in New Japan. So just for me as a fan, I would say that, and nor do I think it was like, something where I feel like, oh, this legacy group, they can't break this group up now that he's gone because it's just too big for that. I don't really believe that at all, actually.
No, I agree with you. I just wanted to bring it up because you were here.
Yeah.
I know you hate them as much as I do, and you don't want to let. And I'll tell you what: in 5-10 years from now, don't let people retcon it and say that they were very act or something.
Yeah, nostalgia kind of does that with a lot of acts. As time goes along, but we won't let it.
No, not on this one. Not on this one. And also, I want to give you the chance to take a victory lap, Dylan, because we had discussed this, and you were right. You knew that the new Hayabusa is Raicho or Raicho.
Yeah, right, Joe.
Raicho.
Yeah. The thing is, though, I had been told that by someone. Like, it wasn't like I'm not like one of these guys that like was looking at people's nipples or whatever Lanza was saying on his update. I didn't do that. Somebody had told me that like months ago now. I think like August or September or so.
No, but you had it before others.
Yeah. See, nobody reported that. Again, I had been told that, and I told you secretly about it. The funny thing is, I told you, and I did tell Striga, and I don't know if I even told anybody else. But when I told Striga, we spent like 45 minutes looking up the bookings of Shingo and like Hayabusa, and none of them coalesced outside of like a single date and one that was like, he was like literally half an hour away in different buildings in June or something like that. So all of the dates matched up, and I was pretty sure of that then. And the funny thing is, when I told you, I'd said, I didn't say Raicho. I said, oh, it's Shingo from Heat Up, which is how I know him now. I wasn't even thinking of Raicho, his old gimmick, which he still wrestles as here and there. But I told you, oh, it's Shingo from Heat Up. And to me, it was obviously him. And you had said, oh, which Shingo? Like, because Heat Up has two Shingos. One is like Suzuki, and I think the other one was like Aizawa or something like that.
Yeah, I can't remember what the other.
Yeah, but and he runs his own company, so I was like, no, not him. Like, and actually, Raicho wrestled him in that guy's company. I cannot remember the name of it right now, but yeah, it was just funny because they were both kind of the same height. They had like similar experience, and I know a lot of people thought it was Astro Man. But actually, I never bought that because Astro Man was a lot smaller than Hayabusa is now, and it just never really matched up with me, so I wasn't buying that. It made sense timing-wise because it's like, oh, Astro Man stops wrestling, and then a few months later, here comes new Hayabusa, so I can see why people connected those dots, but the style and the wrestling, well, the style's somewhat similar, but the body style is not the same, so I kind of had to scope it out through that. And again, I did get inside info on that. It's not like I did a lot of work that a lot of the fans have done to really confirm that. And the great stuff that Brett put up, Bahu, obviously that kind of pulled the curtain off for everybody. So yeah, it was good information.
Are you one of the 97 subscribers to the 01 streaming service?
I'm not, but
neither am I, actually.
I'm thinking about it though. Like I said, Joe's making a very compelling case for it. And 01 is something that has a lot of personal history with me. Mm-hmm. People who know me know that I'm friends with a lot of the guys I've 01 from 15 years ago, including the owner at the time, Mr. Nakamura. I reached out to him on Facebook here. This is a story I love telling, and I'll tell everybody here. So this was like 2010, 2011, before New Japan got popular. Nobody even knew what Japanese wrestling was that much in America. But I had my old Facebook page. I shut it down because I got hacked or something, and I just stopped that. And I don't even want to go on Facebook anyway. But back then, things were a lot different. So I had been friends with like everybody in Japanese wrestling. At the time, they used to have a 5,000 person limit. I don't know if they do that anymore on Facebook, but I had like almost all of them were Japanese wrestlers at that point. Like I was friends with everybody at that point. Nakamura, like people from New Japan, Goto, Akana, like Joshi, any company. And I had found the Yoshi Nakamura on Facebook, and I had actually sent him a message because I thought I had asked him about if they had a dojo or something, because at the time, again, this is 2010, 2011, I really didn't know how to get to Japan. And I hadn't wrestled in like a year or so by that point, a year or two, probably when this happened. And I had been thinking about going to Japan. That was a dream of mine, obviously. And one of my first favorite companies was 01. I loved the show they did that had Sekimoto and Hikuto Hidaka, the New Year's show from, I think, 2011 was when that happened. I loved that show and that match so much. So I messaged him and I asked him about the dojo, and he was like, this is his exact response. He said, if you can come to Japan, you have a job in 01. And I was like, really? I was like, that's super easy. And we actually kept talking. I had friended a lot of people there, and I'm still friends with like Ho Ho Loon to this day and Hartley. We still talk from time to time. But I had met them from 01. Like Ho Ho Loon wrestled in 01 in like 2012. I don't know if people know that. And Jason Lee as well. And we've been talking intermittently from then. But the funny story about that is when he sold the company, the owner, the only way I knew about that was he had DM'd me like a picture of him snorkeling, and that was kind of like his message that he had quit. And when I had talked to Hartley, because he had been on one of my shows that I did, and me and Hartley had talked, and he was like, "Hey, I got that same picture," and I was like, "See, I told you that was like," because a lot of this story sounds unbelievable, but it's all real. Like, and I was just like, man, but yeah, I knew a lot of people from back then, like Guinness and a lot of people that nobody knows about anymore, or Chris Ordorf and whatnot. But so regardless, 01 has a great place in my heart, so I want to get into it again. And I love that it's getting covered so much on Voices of Wrestling and Atlanta and stuff. And I hope you take the plunge with us, Gerard. You need to get on Modern 01 now.
I do need to go. I did subscribe to their YouTube channel to watch that Taka versus Hayabusa thing, but they haven't posted anything else there. Which is bizarre why they don't just do this YouTube subscription, because I can only assume it's probably easier to run than something else, but whatever.
We'll never know the real reason why, but I will say again, company this level in Japanese wrestling, nothing's ever easy. It seems like, like that they kind of seem like they make it harder than it should be. But maybe one day they'll figure that out, or maybe they'll get such a boom in fans. Maybe Kid Bandit can get all these people over for WrestleMania, and they'll become the hottest promotion, and maybe they'll start their own streaming service. Just what Japanese wrestling needs more of. I think everyone agrees with that.
Another streaming service, yes.
Yes, everyone agrees with that, and it could be 01's time going forward.
Well, it is. Yeah, definitely could be the chance. And lastly, before we get to Noah, your thoughts on the FSM 50? Because that has come out and everybody has seen that by now, or most people, I'm sure. And with obviously we had Kanose Takeshita number 1, Kyle Fletcher number 2, and Sari number 3. And I can tell you that all 3 were in the running to finish number 1. I voted for Sari actually for number 1.
And also on the Eastern Lariat Awards, Sari did win our best in ring, like pound for pound Tanahashi trophy. She actually won that too, and in a pretty convincing fashion. So that was my pick as well, and I think it was good. I like the list as always. I think that these kind of lists are always so hard because, for example, you're looking at somebody like, for example, a Jon Moxley had a really rough first half of the year and then became one of the best in the world in the second half and had this amazing run. And it's like, how do you combine both halves? Like, how do you grade them? And he ended up being in the top 5. So clearly, most people had more positive than negative. Someone like Goto was pretty high up, and he missed part of the year. Not that I didn't love Goto's run, of course. And it is important to say that this ranking is about in ring. It's not about star power or any of that stuff. It's how they laid it out in there. So they're combining purely in ring stuff here, which I think is a good reason why Kamatani was a little bit low. Like that was a name that from a name value would have been higher on the list, but in terms of in-ring, I really don't disagree with it. They got a lot of the big names. You had pretty much everybody in there. You even had some indie guys in there, like an Adam Priest was in the top 40. You had Lucha guys, Joshi people were in there. That was a good representation. I thought a lot of the DG guys in the top 10 were a little like, okay, it's nothing against those two at all, really. But it's like, those two are in the top 10 and Rita is not in the top 50. That doesn't make a ton of sense to me. Like with Jackie and Rita being the tag team champions, like the Twin Gate champions there. I would have liked those two to be much closer together. And actually, I like Rita a little better than Jackie, but I think a good amount of people would pick Jackie over Rita. But I mean, in our awards, they had a dead heat in the junior awards. They were like tied for 4th or something. So I mean, maybe it's closer. And Shun to me is more of a character worker than a great match guy. Like, I don't know if I'd have him a top 10 worker. That whole stretch, Shun, Bandito, Speedball, top 10, I don't know. I would have gone against those, but it's not like it's not like they're bad either. And I think with this list, you're destined to get some guys that are going to be disagreed with overall. I think Kento could have been a little bit higher, actually, like looking at his year, if you count it, 38.
A little, but it wasn't. There was only a couple real.
I mean, look who some of the guys he's right behind: Slater, Evans, Okada, Keno, Yuya Uemura. To me, Kento had a much better year than Uemura.
I think Keno might have had a better year than Kento, though.
Yeah, Keno's good. Like, that could work. But
the Iron Man match, he had the match with Kenta.
Yeah, that was my favorite Noah match of the year. Okay, so move those two up, move Yuya Uemura down about 50 spots. I would say, like 31 for him is entirely too high, in my opinion. There's a bunch of people on this honorable mentions I would take over him. But yeah, again, these are kind of nitpicks overall. You're picking a guy here and a guy there. I would have had Shin Yaoki on the list too. Like that was a big miss, in my opinion. In DDT, I get that he's not in a great promotion, but the stuff he did was so great that I think he should have been in there. If Higuchi's going to be 27, Aoki shouldn't be. Again, it's kind of the same thing with Jackie and Rita. It's like if so and so is going to be this high, then how is this other guy that's similar not on the list at all? So those are my qualms with the list, but still, when you got 50. If I made a 50 list purely on my own and labeled honorable mentions, guaranteed there would be people saying, what? Like, how could so-and-so be this high? And so, you're going to have nitpicks no matter who did it. Same thing, same thing with you. If you made a top 50 list on your own, I'd say, well, why is this guy behind this guy? Sort of thing. And it's just like with Kento. You see him on the list and that number feels right, but then you have all these guys ahead of him that don't make as much sense. So it's just kind of like musical chairs in a lot of ways, right. But it's a great concept and a great list. So I'm happy that we have it. And in terms of the top end, I really don't have any problem with Takeshita at all. I think I would have put Sari number 1, just like you. Yeah. And just like the Eastern Lariat voters, but Takeshita probably would have been my number 2 as well. So I think it's him winning. Really have no qualms. Fletcher was probably the MVP of American wrestling. Just purely in the US, so no problem with him either. Zach had his best New Japan year. I've said that, in the past multiple times last year. So I'm with it. And I like a lot of these guys, even though I think they're a little high rankings wise. And so overall, the top end of stuff was good, but you can find nits to pick if you look hard enough.
I'm very proud to announce that I got So Daimonji on the honorable mentions this year. And hopefully next year I can get him into the top 50 if he has continues to have a good run as the strong champion in Big Japan.
I think he's great. We've both always been big fans of his as well. And it's good that he gets a lot of reaction. I'm hoping Yuya Aoki gets a shot in one of these bigger companies now that he's kind of out of the Big Japan cave that he was in. I think if he does something in Noah or in All Japan, I think people would like him a lot. And they'd be like, whoa, this guy's really good. And same thing with so if he got more regular matches in these bigger companies, I think people would be really turned on to him and be like, damn, like this guy's really great. One of my favorite. Yeah.
I think I said this on the last episode I did by myself, but I feel like I don't think it just doesn't feel like he's going to go to Noah, because I think maybe if he had left Big Japan earlier, he'd end up in Noah. But it feels like right now, between all the young guys that they're pushing, because Ozawa and Inamura, whatever you think of them, are now in the top spot. And I think Owada-san or Yu Owada is going to get a big push when he returns from Excursion. They've got Odashima, and they got those 3 young rookies that all look very promising. I don't think they're going to bring in a guy in his early 30s that's been in a deathmatch promotion.
Yeah, I suppose.
I think All Japan is his best bet, and maybe Daisuke can get him there. I don't know.
I hope so. He'd be a great fit in All Japan. Yep. And I
made a joke like swap out Yuya Aoki for Yuma Aoyagi and act like nothing had happened.
that would be very funny overall. But I like I said, the thing is, Yuma, I'm not going to say he had a great year in any way.
Oh no.
But I still know his talent level. If you look back 2 or 3 years ago,
Sure.
he had it. I know that didn't just go away, Gerard. I'm not going to give up on this guy because he's gone, he's gone a little off the rails in the past year in so many ways. So please keep Aoyagi, sign Aoki, and let Aoki teach Aoyagi back to being a good wrestler again. May be the best way to go about it. One of my favorite of the honorable mentions was seeing Tom Nakano in there after she retired in April. That was pretty silly.
Okay, we had quick technical difficulty. We're back. We're just talking about Tam Nakano on the honorable mentions. So from there, we're going to actually dive into some of the recent goings on in Japan. And so we'll start with the Noah Legacy Rise 2026 from Korakuen Hall in front of 1,489 fans. And Dylan, what do you think of that number considering there's no Ozawa or Kenta or even Kaido?
Yeah, I think that when you look at it, I think this run has been stuck in the middle of a situation where now Naito's coming into the promotion. And I think that automatically helped out the New Year's show a lot. And that helped them really get things going. So now you have to go into this new version, and considering it's at still at a smaller level of a venue, it's not a sumo hall, or well, not a smaller level in the general, but smaller than your big shows or Budokan or anything like that. I think that overall it was a pretty good number. House.
Okay, more technical difficulty. So it keeps happening to my mic, but I think we're okay now.
Okay.
Knock on wood and everything like that. So I was going to talk about how I like generally Inamura. I understand why people hate the gimmick, but I enjoyed his match against Kenta, his match against Kaido. But since then, not so much, especially now that he seems to be running through Team 2000X.
Yeah, I think that's kind of fair. The thing is, if you had just asked me a year ago, hey, what do you think of Inamura as a worker? I would have been like, oh, he's great. Like, that guy, I loved him in his original run. Even as a rookie, I felt like, okay, this guy has big potential. He could be a guy that could be the top guy of the company. And for a while, when Kaito was going through the Chronicles of Muto going on in there, he had to be in a place where I felt like, man, maybe Inamura could be the dude for the company. And then he comes back with this Mr. Smack Daddy gimmick, and it's like, oh man, this is not what I would have done at all. But I tried to give it a chance. And some of the stuff was pretty good. He wasn't bad against Kenta or Kaito, even though that did a really bad number, the Kaito match. Ozawa match was pretty terrible, I do have to say. But also, like you said, the problem isn't necessarily him. It's more so running through this group, which is we kind of talked about it at the start of the show. The evolution of the Voodoo Murders spawn-offs. This is another one of those. This isn't that different from House of Torture when you think about it. And I didn't like it with all of the other ones I named. Why would I like it now? It doesn't make any sense. And it's almost, I don't want to say worse, but here's the deal. With House of Torture, you've got a lot of guys who, if they were just on their own, they still wouldn't move the needle that much. Nobody was clamoring for Yujiro to become the world champion or anything like that, and you put him in House of Torture and have these bad matches. Sho had potential as a mid-card guy. Like, it looked like he could have been a good Never type of wrestler and maybe a junior ace. But he wasn't like somebody that was winning Match of the Year awards or been like having 5-star matches here and there, left and right. With somebody like a Sugiura, he was one of your best workers. And now he's in Team 2000. Kitamiya was somebody who had really good matches. He was always kind of a gatekeeper. He was never really a main eventer as his normal self. But he was having a lot of really good work. And then you turn him into this, and I thought that N1 run that he was one of the least enjoyable guys in the entire tournament. And you see him in these matches, and it just doesn't work for me. And I don't know why they keep putting these guys who do have real potential on their own into this group. And I don't think it really benefits them. So, yeah, Inamura, these matches weren't great. I did think this one was better than the New Year's one, though, I will say, with Kitamiya.
Sure.
That's not exactly high praise at all.
I prefer to say it had its moments.
I think that's fair.
But there's other stuff sprinkled in, as you can imagine.
And that's the problem with all of this. And
yeah.
And on top of it, I do hate the gimmick with Inamura. Like, I do think that it is terrible and drags him down.
It's silly, yeah.
And I think his work, again, even the matches he was good in, he was okay, like pretty good, but it didn't really blow me away like that Keno Kenta match we talked about earlier or anything like that. You compare that match to Inamura's match, and I think one's at a level clearly above it. And I want more from this guy that I know is super talented and know is a great worker. He's not showing it in this run right now for whatever reason. And we'll see if it changes going forward. But again, if they keep this up, what they've done with him, and they just keep moving forward with that, I don't know. I really have a lot of doubts about this title reign, right? And I do have to say.
So we had a pretty quiet undercard with just some multi-man tags. Dylan, what's your opinion on Will Cruz?
I like him. Like, I think he's got a great look, like super unique. I think the way he wrestles is good. I think he's still got a little bit of that Brit Rez energy to him that I would like to shake off. And I don't even know if he'll be around long enough for that. He does feel like a guy that could get an offer in North America.
I think there were rumors about him having a tryout in Orlando.
And I think he's a guy that would probably make sense to look at for them, honestly. But he's not somebody I would say is like, oh, this guy could be in main matches. Like when Titus was, he's still around. He just won the hardcore title. But when Titus came in, I thought, okay, this is a guy that if you put him in a spot, he could really deliver and have a really good match. I don't quite have that with him, but I do like him. I think he's a good mid-card act for the company. If they can put him in some bigger matches, I'd like to see it. And that's where I'm at with him. I'm not necessarily confident that he would blow us away, but I would like to see him get a chance and see what he does with it.
Yeah, that makes sense for sure. And so the first big notable thing on the card was Kenta defeating Uka Sasaki in 11:03 with a go to sleep. This was Sasaki's send-off match. I can't believe this thing came on an excursion. Like, he seems like the least excursionist type guy. and they said he's going to the States too, I think, which is utterly bizarre. If you told me he was going to Europe, I could believe that or something. So it'll be funny to see him in the background on NXT or whatever. But
he doesn't fit there at all. Like, no. in any way. I feel like, I don't know. This is what I'm saying with some of these signings. Like, who is responsible for these signings, because they don't make any sense, and you don't. Listen, Inamura had more success than we could have thought we would have had, and even then, it's not like it was that great. But still, I think most people had zero expectations for him, and he ended up getting to a title contender level on NXT, which is something. Will Oka have similar success? I really have a hard time believing such a thing. At the end of the day, he's going to be undersized in NXT. I don't know who they're going to put against him. It's not that he's anything wrong with his size, but I think they're going to put him against an Obafemi type, like that Inamura could go against. I don't know. I don't know how he's going to fare there. But I know that they are reloading a little bit. I know that they're doing a thing where a lot of NXT guys are getting called up, like Oma and Trick Williams, Evans. Like a lot of their biggest stars are now going up to the main roster. So there is room. And I don't even know who the main eventers of NXT are past those guys I just named. Is Ricky Saints still there in NXT?
Ricky Saints is still there, yeah.
Yeah, okay, well, see, Oka, that could be his next feud, then I feel like. Which, again, imagine that match. That's a total stylistic clash. I feel like.
There's also opening for Evil to come in there.
See, and that's another one. We just talked about him. This is why I asked that. It's not even against him and his talent. What are they going to do with these people that seemingly don't fit what they always do with people? So I don't know where these signings are coming from. Maybe this is their way of trying to, this is some sort of grand plan that... With Evil, maybe they wanted to do that to make EO happy. But with this, maybe they're going to bring him in. They're going to get rid of him. And then when he comes back to Noah, they think that's going to help their Abima, their terrible Abima numbers that they have going on with WWE. Like that is what this is all about secretly. Trying to build up Abima.
He was the biggest star they could get to jump.
That's true. That's probably true. And even then, the excursion implies he'll be back someday, which he should be.
Yeah.
You would think.
I should add the match. I don't know. I had higher expectations than what
Yeah,
they
me
were
too.
in this. I thought. Yeah,
I was so disappointed by that match. No joke.
Yeah.
On there, I don't know what happened with it. It just felt like such a like.
Okay. Sorry again. We had an interruption because my Echo Dot went off. We have 3 Echo Dots in our place, so I think my wife accidentally sent the music to the Echo Dot in my office. But you were talking about the match between Ulka Sasaki and Kenta, and how it was disappointing.
Yeah, I thought they really played it safe when they were in a spot to make it really like the best they could and go all out with his last match, make it very memorable, maybe set up a big angle for the future. And instead it's just like, well, I was in the White Raven squad for a week and now I'm going to America. It's like, oh, okay.
This White Raven squad just doesn't feel like it's anything.
I know. I mean, but the thing is, right away, that signals that this faction's DOA. Like, one of your members just left, and the other's Hayata. So
yeah, I was gonna say he just lost his title.
Yeah, and he lost his title too to Titus. Yeah, so where does this go? Poor Endo. Like, he's a guy that I felt like when he came in, he was a really fresh face when he made the turn on Team 2000X and turned babyface. It felt like a guy, he would have been one of my main picks for the N1. And he's over with the fans. He's a good worker, great look. He's got everything you would want, and he's stuck in this weirdo faction like that seems like it's just already falling apart after a week or two.
As bizarre as the Endo's quick entry and then exit from Team 2000X felt, he has just felt very aimless since he left Team 2000X after a week of the first week of him being gone. So strange. You would think that would be the opposite. But
and they never even gave him a real story climb. And I guess they're trying to do that. I mean, on this show, he did get a win over Ozawa. But it feels like this is something that should have happened 6 months ago, where we're at with him. And like you said, he was fine as a worker in these times, but he had nothing notable happen in the last half year or so.
Yep.
Which you would think they would want that for somebody who they got from DDT. That was on the, it was the original plan was to be gone for a year, and he's sticking around. You would think, maybe that's a sign of something that, now that he's staying, they might want to heat him up a little bit more?
I would think so. If he's staying, then you could pencil him into the top of the card. I don't see what would be bad idea about even putting on the GHC title on him at some point.
I totally agree with that.
Him and a Kaido program, I think, would be good.
They felt like such natural opponents.
Yeah.
When you think about their style, again, the look, the wrestling they do, they're very good, stylistic clashes, so to speak, and counterparts. And that they did have their match in the N1, which was good. That was a good match, but it wasn't all it could be either. It was a 7 out of 10, and you think they have a 9 or a 10 in them, kind of on the cage match world.
So then we had Takashi Sugera, Alpha Wolf, Tadasuke, and Jun Masaoka defeating Kaito Kiyomiya, Harutoki, Alejandro, and Kai Fujimura in 11:33. When Wolf pinned Alejandro after Fujimura gave Alejandro the Golazo, and that's right, Kai Fujimura turned on his brother, so we're having multiple brother versus brother feuds in one promotion, which I can't think has that been done. Multiple brother versus brother feuds in the same company at the same time.
I'm trying to think of it. No, I don't think that's ever been.
So whatever. This was okay, but this just feels all scraping the bottom of the barrel for heat.
Why him? On top of it, why Fujimura? I wonder.
Why not bring back Aleja?
The return we've all been waiting for on here. I guess they knew. I mean, a lot of this was to set up the tag tournament, right? They knew they were going to do this, and they wanted to do something different than just running Gopiadoras back again. And Fujimura and Alejandro are easy brothers, so they're trying to do something a little different, I suppose. But it's just so pointless, and it makes. Team 2000 really is in their NWO era right now. I feel
it went in speed run.
Yeah.
Did you You know what was really funny? Because Rich Kraetsch does his predictions show at the beginning of every year, and I forgot that this was my prediction at the beginning of 2025. But he read last year's, and he read mine first, and it was like the interference. And this is what I said as soon as Ozawa won. The interference would totally overtake everything going on with Team 2000X.
That was a great prediction.
Yeah, of course. How could you not see that coming? Just given
Oh yeah.
everything in the company, right?
Oh yeah, I totally anticipated that as well, and I was over that basically month one, like with Team 2000, because I had the same visions you did, and I just like, look, I know where this is going, and again, look, I don't want to bring it back to the start of the show. It's been happening time and time and time again for decades now. We know how this goes, and I want off this ride. That was what I felt after month one, let alone month 12 of it.
Month 12, yeah. We are in month 13, going to month 13 of this, and it's funny how fast that, the NWO had maybe 2 good years. One could even say only 18 months, because it's about 18 months to Starrcade 97, right? From its formation. And that sort of thing, right? So, but it fluttered out. It's fluttered out in a year, which is just crazy to think about. So next up, we had Tetsuya Endo defeating Ozawa in 13-13 with the Saruman tornado clutch. Again, fine, but what did you expect on this? Ozawa was yucking it up, and then you had the botched interference. Everything goes for Endo. This is a big win for Endo, but it also doesn't feel like a big win.
And that's kind of what I said earlier. If this had happened 6 months ago, I think it would have worked a lot better. Although, if you did it 6 months ago, he couldn't break his award, like the Tokyo Sports Award that he had, and use it for Heat. Do you think that was the real one that he used to attack, or was it a worked award?
I could see it being a real award.
Yeah, I'm sure Ozawa didn't care enough to break it. He's like, fine, I'll use it. If it breaks, it breaks. Whatever. But yeah, like I said, it was fine, stupid in some places, a nice win for Endo, and hopefully this is a sign that they're going to heat him up. But it would have been more effective months ago when their program was actually going on, when he had just first left in June or so. Maybe this would have been a big win. Now, and remember what that led to. That his turn led to another turn, with Sugiura screwing up the triple threat match right afterwards. So he didn't even get his story played out at all. And yeah, like I said, I hope that they're going to do it now, because we do like him and we think he's a main event level player. And hopefully this is the start of that. But as a match, definitely not anything I'd say go back and watch.
And then next up, GHC Junior Heavyweight title, the match that everyone was waiting for. Asuka defeated Daiki Otoshima in 1606 with the Kaikoku to make his first defense of the title. And this was great. This was a match of the show, no question. And Asuka is one of the best wrestlers of the year so far.
Oh, I totally agree. I think that Asuka is an amazing talent, and finally he's back on top. He's a guy that had been in and out of major runs, and really mainly out the last couple of years in Noah in the junior division. And now, him as the champion, he's really putting on his best foot forward. But he's had some great opponents. Hiromu and Noah has done a wonderful job. And maybe he'll be here a lot more if rumors are to be believed in the future.
Well, we're 2 days or 3 days away from those contracts expiring. I figured, who's to say, right? Whatever. We can get into that, but it feels like, it's funny because let's just talk about it now. The mystery opponent and Naito and Bushi and everything doing a LIJ rerun in 2026 Noah feels even more pathetic than the Muto run a couple years ago in terms of reaching back for nostalgia. And I thought that Noah had sort of finally put that to rest.
Well, if it's Hiromu, at least you'll get good matches.
Yeah.
If it's Sonata,
for maybe the first year.
That's true. Until he gets bored,
he might lose interest again.
That's true. You may be right about that. But I will say, even if it's not him, the run that he's already had was very good, and I think he did a great job. He finally got Junta out of the promotion, buried him enough to where he had to go to DDT with that singles run they did. But besides that, it was all positive. Although Junta, I don't know if you've seen him in DDT. He looked really good in his match with Alki.
I'm sure he does. He is good. He's just whatever.
Yeah. Whatever. That's the best way to describe his Noah run. But Hiromu did a great job in the match with Amakusa. Amakusa looked incredible, and again, Onishima has to be like one of the wrestlers I personally like watching the most in any company. He just always delivers, no matter what position he's in. From the beginning, pretty much. The guy, when he did the Fujita stuff, the 1 minute matches, he did a great job, made that the best it could be. In tag matches, he's one of the few men that can get a good team with Daga that's pretty much alive, I would say. Whether it's veterans, other juniors, anything he can do is great. Amakusa, we love him, so they had great chemistry together too. And I thought they did a really good story match with Amakusa being on top, and they really sold the underdog status of Onishima here. And I just liked how much Amakusa targeted his body instead of a limb, and I think Onishima was great. And these guys are just two of the guys I look forward to watching most, and they really had a great match. I thought it was really strong stuff. Maybe a little lesser than the Hiromu match overall, but not by much, if it was. I think they were both great matches.
I think that this was great for other reasons, because it's just like, it's just fun watching Onishima do his thing.
Yeah.
Even if it's not like as good, like belt to belt, it's just fun to watch him develop and with that crowd connection, everything like that. So I feel like Onishima, if you compare to the hype around Anzai or who else have been super rookies in recent years? Well, Aaron Wolf's a completely different animal, I think.
Yeah. Homari and Dragon Gate got that reputation.
Yeah, I feel like Homari even got more hype than Onishima has.
Yeah, and the thing is with Homari, he was put in a main event angle too with Shun Skywalker, and he had to carry a lot. They haven't really given him a main run, but he's got a belt, which in the first year in Noah is a huge rub. So they have high hopes for him clearly. It's a couple of the Joshi rookies, in Marigold, Yamaoka that has been up there, like very well talked about. Yeah. And there's been a couple lately. In New Japan, it's basically impossible to be a super rookie just because of how they utilize their
already a celebrity.
Unless you're a celebrity. Yeah, yes, that's true.
Which is fair enough. I'm not holding. I think Aaron Wolf is doing well for him.
Yeah. Everyone loved that match at the Dome. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So. But that is a special case, absolutely. So I would want to compare him to like the Anzais and the Yamaokas of recent years type thing, or Senka.
Senka is another one, and Onishima has to be up there. Again, I was talking about it to you. I know you said you didn't listen to the show, but we did put the list out on there, and for me, in my list, Onishima was in my top 5 wrestlers under 25 in Japan, or 25 and under in Japan. I had him at number 5, and that was above some major names.
Who do you have at number 1?
Starlight Kid.
Okay, yeah.
But again, that's a 10-year veteran as well, even though the age. So my whole goal with that was I thought 30 under 30, it's a good idea, but then you'll have like multi-time world
Someone
champions.
Needs to do, because those limit break or not limit break. What was the All Japan shows called at Shinkiba?
Oh yeah,
that Hayato was the sort of the producer.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh my god, the name escapes me.
Yeah.
But they're having their last one of those in March, but because I think a bunch of people are aging out, because that was 10 years of experience or less. So that's why the Saitos were on some of those shows, which also I think is a good thing. Like you could do a list of like people with less than 5 years of experience, which I think would open up some more interesting angle, like people that
true rookies type of deal. But Onishima needs to be up there with all of those other names, and all of them are great, by the way. And everyone knows Anzai is like my ultimate guy in wrestling. He's like my favorite wrestler probably to watch, and he has been for a long time. Now he really got it early on, great. And all the other ones I like a lot too. So Onishima needs to be up there, one of the absolute best true rookies in Japanese wrestling.
And then the main event, Yoshiki Inamura defeated Masa Kitamiya in 28-26 with the discharge for his third defense. And like I said, this had its moments when they were like, knocking each other silly. But then, of course, you had all the other stuff, like insert what you expect from a Team 2000X match here type thing. And that's what really spoiled it. And what sort of left the bad taste in my mouth after the show was that after the match, obviously, Segura just comes out to challenge. So he's just running through Team 2000X.
And on top of it, they did the exact same angle with Keno as they did before. Like, they literally repeated.
I know. Tried to challenge, but then got, you know.
Why would you do that? I guess it's...
Well, I was going to say, do you think when Keno finally challenges, he beats Inamura? And this is Keno's little story that he beats all the young guys?
That would be good if they did that, but they're making him look like a comedy guy. Yeah, and a geek. Yeah, like, I didn't want to say it that way, but yes. It's really true. So that's very weird. It kind of fits his, like, YouTuber persona.
Sure.
But I kind of wish that they would not treat him like that on the shows. Like, I want him to be a badass guy, like the guy who's fighting Kenta and kicking the crap out of everybody. Like, that's the Keno I like the best, is the one that kicks very hard. Like, that's all I need. I don't need, I need him to look angry, kick people hard. I don't need him to be comedy guy. I don't need him to get attacked 5 times before he finally gets a title shot. The match itself was what it was. What you said earlier was accurate. It had its moments, but there was also moments of bad, and that sucked. And so, ultimately it became a match that I didn't really like that much. I thought it was better than the Ozawa match, but that's about as much praise as I could give it.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Although, I guess this is a backhanded compliment. It didn't feel as bad as it could have been for 28 minutes.
That's true. I mean, that's
when
fair.
You look at that match length.
Like, that is fair, I would say. And like I said, hopefully this title reign can kick it to the next level. I'm really going to be unhappy if this Sugiura match, with Inamura, if they just do this same Team 2000X shtick with him, which they will, like, that's what's going to happen. We saw it already, like with Sugiura in these matches. That's going to be unhappy, because I really think this match could be an excellent match, but you've got these guys just living in a fantasy world that I'm having to watch as a viewer, and I don't want to. Like, I don't want to watch that.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, I don't have really high hopes, because if they're going to have interference on Sugiura's 25th anniversary match against Kenta, they're going to have interference in this match.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We saw it already. So yeah,
it is what it is. And also, they did that angle with that might not have been Tetsuya Naito.
Oh, yeah.
But it was just to set up the 6-man tag on February 6th and the mystery man opponent, which is either Sonata or Hiromu.
Now, to be fair, Hiromu is booked on New Beginning in New Japan.
Oh, okay. Okay, so Hiromu's not leaving.
At least not yet.
Not yet.
Maybe they had a handshake deal to work through.
I guess Sonata is the most likely.
I think it'll be. What kind of outfit will he wear if it is him for his Noah debut?
Preposterous.
Yeah. Will it be better or worse than Seth Rollins level?
Better.
Okay, it won't be that bad. Even he has some standards, and I'm glad to hear that.
Sure. Okay. For sure. No, Sonata could never be as annoying as.
Good point. I agree.
So we'll go quickly, because I didn't watch all the no-others out there. I only watched the first Monday Magic of this run. I mostly enjoyed the show. Alejandro versus. Did you watch the show?
Yes, I did, and I will say the first thing I want to say, because we don't have to get into the second show too much, but the first show was automatically superior due to having Chi-Chi on it, and the second one didn't. So therefore, it was the.
I enjoyed Alejandro versus Ryoya Tanaka. They did a nice little 10-minute draw.
What'd you think of Tanaka? He's one of my favorite guys. Me and Striga gave him junior.
He's great.
Yeah,
he's awesome.
Yeah. Good.
So, I mean, fun to see Hiroshi Yamato teaming with his. Was it F4 teammate?
Yep.
So he had F4.
Yeah.
So F4 reunion, and they lost to Shigehiro Irie and Danny Dugan. I think Dugan's decent, and Irie is a blast from someone I haven't seen in ages. You had Archie Cole, Iker Navarro, and Dragon Bane defeated Jack Morris Galeno, and Galeno is back, and Nathan DeWind, or maybe Nathan DeVind.
I will say, I want to correct myself. Soya was not an F4. I did look that up on there. Like I said,
Yamato was though, right?
Yamato was, yeah, and they had all of them. They had Yamato and Kai there. I thought, of course, Sawyer was in. They're like, no, it wasn't. It was Zodiac there. I was like, oh, no wonder I forgot.
So that was, saw a little match. Devin, Dutch, I think, and a decent little wrestler. But again, I like how they give these guys a chances on these shows, though. This is a perfect way to introduce the new foreigners and sort of see who sticks.
Yeah, me too. I think that all the guys they brought in, none of them looked bad, which I think is that's kind of my that's my bar. I just don't want somebody who stinks coming in when they bring in these foreign talents, and none of them looked bad at all. They're like you said. I also like that they're giving people chances, and some of them are like deep cut players. Like Navarro is the Spanish wrestler. I think that's awesome that you're giving somebody like that a spot. And you've got these guys who weren't names really at all on even the European scene. And they're looking good, again, they're not like making like, oh, these are diamonds and they need to be pushed as the number one stars or anything like that. But I like that they're giving people, and Noah's kind of always been good about that. I remember when they had that tour of South America, they brought in like XL, like Alejandro Saez from Chile. Back, this was like 10 plus years ago now. So they've always been good about finding people from obscure places. And I like that. On the second show, the second Monday Magic, they had Amelie, which is like a French women's wrestler on.
Yes.
So how are they, like, my one question is, how are they getting all these people here? Like, why are they...
Amelie and Marvelous?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Well, and a lot of them are Marvelous, like training in the Marvelous dojo, both the men and the women.
Okay, see, that makes sense.
Is Marvelous dojo.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he had that West Coast connection at the start of things years ago.
Yeah, but that's a nice little way to cycle them in and out and everything like that. And they'll take who. But strangely enough, like Titus has barely worked actual Noah.
Yeah, I know.
But I don't know if it's a scheduling thing or what it is. But I think he's deserved his prime time. Because whether or not Monday Magic is still even a Noah thing, I don't know. It's still under Noah on Cage Match, although it's got its own little thing tab on Wrestling Universe now.
Yeah, I know. They are doing, like, they're going to do that thing where they're like all the companies are together on Wrestle Universe, like Noah and Basara and all that DDT.
Oh yeah, the Universe Cup or whatever.
Yeah. So I feel like it's a Noah thing, but who knows? It's no Sawa. Like we can't.
Yeah. So next up we had Kaito Kiyomiya defeating Naruki Doi 14-37 with the Japanese leg roll clutch. I mean, honestly, this was fine for what it was. I don't know what you were going to expect on a surprise Monday Magic show between these two guys. We're never going to go like balls to the wall. So it was a nice, solid, fun little match.
Yeah, I mean that's about how I describe all of these matches.
Yeah, exactly. It's Monday Magic. Like if this was the semi-main event of a Corkin, I would have higher.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not even that it's a bad match. It's just like when you think of those two guys and what they're capable of, right?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. At the end of the day, but considering this is a Shinjuku show for Monday Magic, this is about as good as we probably could have realistically expected. They weren't going to be like, all right, like we're laying it all on the line for this epic match. Like, so what we got, I was fine with, but it wasn't anything I'd be like, oh, you got to drop everything, Kaito and Doi. Like, it's really not like that. It was a fine mid-card match.
And then Mayu Iwatani and Miku Aono defeated Chi-Chi and Zones in 11-10 with the moonsault press from Iwatani to Zones. And we've got a little bit of Wrestle Universe versus All Japan here, or whatever. This was fun. And this was a nice little semi-main event, I thought.
Yeah.
Because the Evolution haven't really worked much Marigold, have they? Or at all?
No, actually, they've been more in line with Stardom. Like Chi-Chi worked Stardom multiple times last month. They're
gonna steal her.
They should.
Yeah.
I'm not, again, knock on wood. I hope this doesn't happen. But if I ran either WWE or AEW, she'd be like one of my top draft picks to get in all of Japanese wrestling. I mean, she speaks English. She looks incredible, and she's a really good worker. Like, this is somebody who could be a top star.
I think if she gets into Stardom, she could get into America eventually.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, she works there. She's worked there a couple of times last month. We'll see if it goes anywhere. But those are more on like special shows, like their Christmas show that they did, and stuff like that. So we'll see. But yeah, she's definitely a great prospect. Somebody that, and she did just recently drop the Evolution title.
Oh no, it was Zones that dropped the Evolution title.
No, because Chi-Chi lost the Strong title. Remember to Michiko Miyagi?
No, that was Zones that lost the Evolution title to Michiko on the Great Show.
But that was in November. I'm talking about this month.
Oh.
Or no, Chi-Chi won the title back from Michiko.
She won the title, sorry.
Yeah,
Yes.
I my results mixed up, so my bad about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, Chi-Chi won the title back. Yeah.
That's the classic booking. They're saving the big Chi-Chi versus Zone showdown for later.
Yeah, see, look at that. They used Michiko to bridge them on there. So yeah.
Well, it was kind of obvious what happened when she just like surprisingly won that title on that Great Show.
Yeah, I mean that was weird, but
anyway, so for the main event for the hardcore title, Titus Alexander defeated Hayata in 1907 with the Big Ugly. Hayata fails on his third defense, and Titus is the 5th champion, so they're not recognizing the old GHC hardcore title in this lineage, which frankly is a shame. Anyway, this was fine, I guess. I'll give him this, though. It feels like Hayata's doing more jobs nowadays, which is good.
Yeah,
This went too long, though, for sure.
Yes, first of all. And secondly, this was like the one time you would think he would need to win because they're trying to heat up this new faction, and then it's like, no, you're gonna lose your belt right away here. Yeah. But yeah, like you said, this was way too long, and it wasn't.
And also they're heating, like, he's got a big 6-man coming up and everything. But it is a guarantee of more Titus on these shows, so we'll see how that goes.
That's good.
Did you watch anything on Monday Magic 2?
Yeah.
So big news, Hayabusa showed up and everything. How was that show?
Not as good as the first one, but I thought Titus's match was good. It was like Titus and Itamura versus Navarro and Kaito. That was the best match on this.
That sounds like it would be. And I also didn't get to watch this, but did you watch Daga versus Alpha Wolf for the national title?
No, I missed that.
Okay. Well, I didn't see it either. So.
Yeah, sorry about that.
And okay, I've been a little busy, so I haven't watched everything I wanted to. Did you watch the Great Show with the Funaki versus Ito match where Funaki got injured?
I'm afraid not.
Okay.
Although I have been getting into Glate more since they went back on YouTube, I will say. I'm catching up now.
I paid the money to watch Nakajima versus Suwon.
How'd that work out?
Well, then they announced like a week later.
Oh, that's even worse than it being bad on there. But I like I said, I don't have a visceral hatred towards Glate. I do have to say that.
But I just wish it would die.
I don't hate them. I just want them to die.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's probably just best for everyone. Right?
Yeah. I will say that the president does follow me on Twitter, so I have to be in allegiance with the Suzuki.
Does he pop into your mentions to make sure you call it Ledette UWF?
No, but only because I haven't spoken on Glate in a while on Twitter. I watch this by myself. I don't talk about it to others, but I am admitting that fact right here exclusively on the Emerald Flow show because Striga will not watch these shows. Like he doesn't care at all. He barely watches Noah, so I can barely get him to watch that, let alone Glate. But I hope Funaki's okay. Like I said, he's a great worker.
Think so. He got out of the hospital pretty quickly, so it's not like. I mean, he probably should retire if he's getting neck injuries at his age, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the greats. I mean, it's not like he has anything left to prove at this point,
right? And it's just the way that if you think about how many wrestlers in Japan have just bumped on their neck for too long, seems to be a sign that you don't want to end up like as bad as like Otani or something like that, or Takayama or anything like that, right?
Well. The man who played Kazuma Kiryu will always be a legend in my book. No matter how many bumps he takes or what he does, Pancrase Mission.
Pancrase Mission forever. So we move over to All Japan, and they had their fan Thanksgiving Day on the 11th at Shinjuku Face. 530 fans for the Super No Vacancy Full House. I believe this sold out ahead of time. We started off the show with Kuma Arashi defeating Ryuki Hana in 15:33 with a diving senton, which was a it was a big upset to start off the show, and I thought this was a nice, solid little opener. And I think I like Kuma Arashi more than you do, Dylan. But you might as well do something with him. I think he deserves it for how hard he's worked.
I mean, he's been around. There's no doubt he's been wrestling. He's got a new look a little bit. His hair has changed.
Yeah, growing up the hair.
Yeah, so maybe this is a sign that he knows things are getting serious. So he has to change up the hair. But yeah, I don't hate him, but he's not somebody I feel like, I really want to see this Kuma Arashi match. Like, there really aren't any matches that I can think of that are like that. Maybe like Wrestle One days, he was somebody I thought had potential, but not in All Japan. We'll see what he does, but he's okay to me. That's what's his match.
Yeah. And then we had, Daisuke Sekimoto, Hikaru Sato, and Seki Yoshioka defeating Musashi, Kengo Mishimo, and Yuko Miyamoto in 7:49 with the Sasuke Special X version 10.2 segue from Yoshioka and Musashi. And now Yoshioka and Musashi now have the most heated feud in the company.
Well, I pretty strongly question that booking, to be honest. But they're great wrestlers, so I like seeing them wrestle each other. Whether it's in this match or the match, coming up we'll talk about. Every time they go against each other, they're dynamite. I really love them, both as wrestlers. And I made this point to somebody. I was like, man, I really hope Yoshioka doesn't kind of go back down and get lost in the shuffle. Like, again, now that this team is not a priority at the moment. Well, I mean, now it looks like they might be splitting apart. I hope Yoshioka doesn't get lost in the shuffle, because I think he'd be a great top-tier player for the junior division, and Musashi as well, but it looks like he might be getting more focus coming up.
Yes. So then we had a four-way match. Seigo Tachibana defeated Red Ayabe, Talos, and Cyrus in 6:23 by countout. Dylan, Pop and Light is not dead.
And it never will be in this company. But I will say this. If this leads to a Tachibana push, which it did, well, we know, spoiler alert, we know for a fact it is going to do that, I can live with that. I will sacrifice our pride of the King's Road if it means Seigo finally gets wins. And it looks like that's where we're headed.
And then we had Jun Saito, Hideki Suzuki, and Shotaro Shino, what a team, defeating Hokuto Omori, Asuki Aoyagi, and Dan Tamura in 11:50 with the psycho break from Saito on Omori, which was just your perfunctory six-man. And then in the main event, Kento Miyahara and Go Shiozaki defeated Yuma Enzai and Rising Hayato in 1909 with a strong arm lariat from Shiozaki on Hayato. Now, originally this was supposed to be Kento and Go versus Ryo Inoue and Shota Kofuji, but they both got the flu.
Yeah.
But I was looking forward to that match, but we got probably a better alternative in this one.
Yeah, how is this such an upgrade in terms of star power?
Well, it would have been fun with. I think the other one would still.
No, but they're good. It's not. I love Ryo in a way. Like, that's my guy, and we both love Kofuji. But in terms of star power, like, these guys are multiple time champions, like that are getting shoot in. The other guys have not been multiple time champions. And
so, yeah, this was really great. And I thought that Hayato and Go worked really well together, actually.
The return of Xseed.
Yes. Go wore an Xseed shirt, and Kendra was very puzzled.
Yeah, that was awesome. Like, all of this was tickled me a lot, I do have to say, because I love their first iteration of their team. It's a shame how it all had to end with Go once again leaving a company high and dry, as he's not known to do ever outside of that one moment in time. But now,
to be fair, Noah sort of fucked some people over when he left.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. I mean, you're right.
He did leave All Japan high and dry, but also they probably couldn't afford to pay him.
Yeah, they definitely could not. There's no doubt about it. And I am pro worker, like 99% of the time. I felt bad only because Kento was like, that was really his big moment. But little did we know that he would have much bigger things in the near future from that, after Suwama had to give up the title.
Well, I was going to say Kento got screwed over twice. Once by Go leaving, and then another time by Suwama's Achilles tendon injury, but he still was fine.
Yeah, exactly. And he ascended to heights greater than anyone could have thought at the time. But I love their team. They had a great match with Akiyama and Omori. I remember very well when they won the belts. And I think that they have great chemistry together. And obviously, like, we know Hayato and Aoyagi do. Hayato and Anzai do. So I thought it was a great match, really good main event, kind of underrated on Cage Match. Actually, I'm looking at the rating now. I thought it was better than a 6.93. It would be more like an 8 to me.
Do you think now that Go has put pen to paper for All Japan, he's going to get pushed and like the jobs to Kento and June were just like testing his loyalty?
My read on that was that I thought that, especially the Kento loss, and the reason why they did it so fast was I definitely felt like they wanted to get that out of the way because of how things went with Nakajima last time, where Kento never really got his win back. So they're like, okay, we're not even going to test that position to even risk that now. And they got it out of the way right away. So now that he's signed, what you said seems pretty valid. I think now that he's under the contract, he can do a lot of good things. It does feel like they're still kind of, for now anyway, keeping him in the tag ranks with Ashino. Yep. But if Kento's the champion, that's really a fine place to be. I would say like there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't shock me at all if he wins the Triple Crown this year, but it also wouldn't shock me if he doesn't.
It just depends on how much this takes off with the tag team. I think with Ashino, if they get on a good run and maybe they win the tag belts, that could kind of keep him settled. But if he was to get a big push, I mean, if you think about it, with the Carnival coming up in a couple of months, I feel like it's not out of the realm of possibility that he could win. To be honest.
No, I've said that he's never won a Carnival.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, like, if he wins the Carnival, he'll probably win the belt afterwards too. And that honestly makes a lot of sense if it happens. So, I think. Long story short, what you said, I agree with. Like ultimately,
I mean, my dream match for December 31st of 2026 is Go versus Anzai. Actually,
man, I would, especially if they kept them apart for the entire year, put them in opposite blocks. That match would be so great.
So we move on to the 18th at Shinkiba, another super no vacancy full house at 337 fans. You know, it's Shinkiba, but as long as they're still selling that out, that's good. Rising Hado defeated Shota Kafuji with the Hito Danashi driver. Solid little opener. And then we had the Sato brothers versus the Hokuto Gun. Hokuto Omori and Cyrus defeated Jun Sato and Mr. Sato Naruki Doi 946. With the reverse splash on Cyrus versus Doi. I used to be hard on Cyrus, but I'm glad he's back. I have to
me too.
Yeah.
I like Cyrus.
And then we had Havoc versus Baka no Jidai with Daisuke Sakamoto and Kendall Machino versus defeating Go Shiozaki Shotaro Ishino in 1050 with the Shinken from Mashimo on Ishino. And this is a solid match, but they had a rematch the following week that was even better. What did you think of this one, though?
And I think maybe that's a problem because on the Eastern Lariat, I said I liked this one better.
Oh, really? Okay.
And I still do. But it's only, the thing is, it's not that there was anything wrong with the second one. It's that I had just seen this. And I think the second match I came in puzzled a bit why they were doing it at all. And maybe that took me out a little bit. Not that the second one was bad at all. And honestly, I would say both matches, my review of them would be kind of the same. They were pretty basic matches, but worked very well between all men. It's not like they were reinventing the wheel or doing anything crazy. They were just doing really good, hard-hitting wrestling in both of them. But I thought this one had a little bit more pop. And again, I think it has an unfair advantage just because they didn't come first, more so than aiming them on his own. But they were both good and both well-worked. But I wouldn't say either were like, whoa. You know, like the match where like Kengo and when Hideki and him won the titles over Business Tag, that was like a great match, and these weren't as good as that, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of these teams are going to get a shot at the Titans of Calamity, but it also feels like with the Saitos going to be back in full strength, that they're ultimately going to be the ones that take down the Titans of Calamity.
That would make sense, and I would like to see a third match between these two teams. To be honest, like the winner gets the title shot, that type of deal, sure. and then we can move on to the Saito brothers after that.
Yeah, and then Kuma Arashi defeated Dan Tammer in 1201 with the diving senton. I liked it. I thought it was a nice little solid match, and Kuma gets his push, and we know where this is going actually. But what do you think of this one?
Yeah, another one I would kind of describe like I did before. Basic match, worked well. Like nothing too crazy about it. This one I did think I would have changed the match layout. I would have had Tamura like get on the offensive a little bit more. Here, like Arashi controlled a lot of it, and I think some of that, again, it's very basic work. And if you like it well worked, then I think you'll probably enjoy this well enough. But if you're looking for something to really stand out or be flashy, you didn't get it. But for what it was good. Like a good mid-card match, I would say.
And then we had the road to the Zenichi Junior Tag Festival. Atsuki Aoyagi, Musashi, Fuminori Abe defeated Seki Yoshioka, Ryo Inoue, and Mochizuki Jr. With the Firebird splash from Aoyagi on Mochizuki. I thought this was a good little warm-up match. I enjoyed this. And I'm looking forward to this Junior Tag Festival. And I actually think Mochizuki Jr. works really well in the All Japan Junior division.
I think Mochizuki Jr.'s works better everywhere, no matter where he's at. I'm a huge fan of his. He's a guy that's really hasn't gotten a consistent push in DG, but he's kind of positioned as kind of the third guy in his team at the moment, which are still champions, to be fair. And that's probably a bigger push that he's gotten in a long time. But I love his work. I know we've saw him versus Inoue and do some great things and singles matches in the crossover show, the Doi show. And I think he does work very well here. I think he's a great fit stylistically. And I love how you look at these, like, all of these guys, you know, in the way it goes. You have Junior, Inoue, and Yoshioka, like such a serious team. And then you've got like Aoyagi and Abe, who are more like of the pop and light style, but still like really good workers as well. And you kind of brought them together where you had good charisma, and which like not that the other team doesn't have charisma at all. Mochi and Inoue have great charisma, I would say, but they're doing great things, really good pace, and this was definitely the best match on this show, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm actually gonna say that I think Inoue and Mochizuki Jr. are gonna win that Junior Tag League or tournament.
That tournament looks so good too, like up and down. I think it's a really promising lineup.
We'll get into why I think winning that thing in a second.
Yeah.
And then Triple Crown skirmish, Talos, Renai Abe, and Yuma Enzai defeated Kento Miyahara, Hideki Suzuki, and Ricky Honda in 1605 with the big boot from Talos on Honda. I actually did like this match. I'd probably give the edge to the junior match, but this was quite a lot of fun too, though, and it was mostly a good main event. I thought having Anzai in there with Talos and Renai Abe really helped that team.
But I will say, like you, I am a big time supporter of Talos. I like to think one of us, if not both, are driving the Talos train right now.
Yes.
And we'll talk about his singles match. But I think this match was really effective as a build-up to that, because a lot of it was Talos basically being like the mountain for Kento here, which I think is a great usage of him. They played the match like that. Talos looked super strong throughout, and I think Kento did a great job of building up to where we would go. So a really good six-man match and a really good main event. But mainly, I think it was even better as a build-up than as a match on its own.
Yeah. Well, sometimes like you just want to sort of do the build and everything like that.
Yeah, and that's what it should have been. Like, to me, that's a positive sign.
Mm-hmm. And so the next thing would this very same day in Dragon Gate, in a big surprise, Don Fuji and Masaki Mochizuki defeated Ishin and Yoshiki Kato in 1503 to win the All Asia Tag Team titles. I haven't seen this match yet. Have you, Dylan?
I have. And all I have to say is, damn you, WADA, on this. How could you screw up Ishin and Kato here? And I don't know what the deal is with this, to be honest, why they did this. Because Kato and Ishin are very heavily pushed guys in DG. It's not like they're, on the downswing at all. They are a very good team. Kato had just got a big win because they did an angle where they had a kind of newcomer who was really on the rise, even though he's not really a newcomer at all. Like, if you watch DG, you know who he is, but he was gone for injury, with an injury for a while. But they had El Cielo. He was planning to get a title shot against Madoka Kakuta, who's like Kato and Ishin's leader of their unit. And Kato was like, nah, screw that. Like, you're not going to get a title shot. You got to go through me first. And obviously in wrestling, that means the babyface is going to go through the heel faction to get to the leader. But in this case, it didn't happen. Kato actually beat him and stopped his title challenge. So that shows you that Kato was a guy getting pushed as a singles and as a tag team here. And yet, for whatever reason, and Ishii is obviously super popular and very well liked and all that, but for whatever reason, they decided the old guys need belts, and the All Asia titles is where to go with it. That said, it was a pretty good match, actually. It felt like a big upset win. You had Wada. Wada played a big part in the match too. He it's not like he just was there to just a referee. He was very much in tune with it all. And they built to the crowd. The crowd was really buying into the baby faces, and then they pulled it off. So, an upset win. I don't know why they did it, but I think we all love those two anyway, like Mochizuki and Don Fuji. So I don't think anyone was complaining. It just was confusing because of Kato and Ishii.
I guess I shouldn't be surprised that Wada played a big role in the match, considering they advertised that he was going to be the special referee for the match.
Yeah, that was the draw of that match.
The draw, quote unquote. And this is kind of why I think Inoue and Mochizuki Jr. might win this tournament. I mean, it would make no sense. Like, what are we going to do? Run Atsuki and Rising Hato versus Don Fuji and Misaki Mochizuki? Like, it seems.
Yeah, your idea makes a lot of sense, and that's a good way for these titles to go from both sides, like whether DG or All Japan. But I will say, the working relationship between these two companies has worked out pretty surprisingly well, because I think, on paper, their identities as companies are pretty much opposite of each other. But
I think that's what works, actually.
And they've melded them together quite well, actually, and the way they've used them is strong. And I like what we've seen with them. And I mean, they've always been that way. Even when, like, Susumu was the junior champion in All Japan, that was awesome. Like, everybody loved that run. So every time they work together, it really works. And I think they're getting more and more ramped up. And that's one good thing I have to say about the booking in All Japan right now, is that working with them more has opened up a lot of good avenues. And this was a surprise move, but it does make sense. I think that I really have no issue with Mochizuki and Fuji if they make an appearance in All Japan at all.
Let me ask you this, Dylan. If you had to trade Yuma Aoyagi for one person in Dragon Gate, who would it be?
How many ways are you going to try and get rid of Aoyagi off this roster?
I'll give him a chance when he returns.
Yeah. Who would fit best? I think, in a way, I actually think... So, their champion right now... I mean, he was here in All Japan not that long ago.
Yeah.
Kikuta.
Kikuta is awesome in All Japan.
Yeah, he did a great job at the Carnival, and he works well. I actually don't think he's, like, a top-tier Dreamgate champion, like the way they use him and as this heel run right now. But I think if he were in All Japan, we saw that he could fit in really well, and I think that unlocks the best of him. And I think that would be a great trade. I think Aoyagi would get unlocked if he wants to be. It really just depends on his mindset more than his talent level on there. But yeah, I think Kikuta would be a great trade in there. If you wanted somebody like that. And I think that would be a good pick, too, where they're at on the card. They feel like they're in similar spots in both companies. Like, top guy, but maybe not the top guy. So I think it would be a good spot. And I do think Kikuta's probably going to lose his title soon. It is we'll see. I hope somebody in Dragon Gate's in the Carnival this year, too. If it's not Kikuta again, maybe they'll have somebody else. Yeah.
I don't have any problem with Atsuki, really. But if I had to trade the brothers for a unit, I would trade Kikuta and Kato for the Aoyagi brothers.
Okay, yeah, that lets Ishin be a top star in Dragon Gate, which I definitely would like. What about Kai, though? Where will Kai's loyalty lie? That needs to be their first rivalry.
I mean, it would be great for Kai to come back, but I can't trade a young guy for...
somebody in the shadow of his career.
Honestly, I would like another Kai versus Kento match, though. Absolutely.
Kai, when he was here last year, he didn't look too bad, actually. Like, it wasn't great, but it wasn't too bad in the tag run they had. So maybe good luck to Kai. Bring him back. It was Kikuta versus Business Tag.
He was in that tag title match on the outside of the ring.
Well, that's true, but it was still a good match. If you want,
I'll take Kai in the Champion Carnival.
If you want to disparage my guy like that, you can, but I'm going to... And, him in the Carnival would be good. The thing is, Kai's old and kind of broken down now. He's not in a... It's actually been worse in past years. There's been times in DG where it's like, man, like, what's going on with you? How are you moving? And now it's not that bad. Same thing with his old partner in DG, BB Hulk, where it's like sometimes you watch him and you're like, God, what happened? And then other times he's surprisingly good. But Kikuta and Kato in All Japan would be great. Kato's another kind of big guy. Like, that's the thing. This crew is kind of like bigger guys. So, that would be good on there. But I do think that Aoyagi's too intertwined with the promotion itself. Even now, Kento would not like that.
Well, see, what I'm thinking is, though, interestingly enough, and this is all pure speculation on my part, Aoyagi gets suspended. Go slides in. Go clearly has his own vision of pro
Yeah.
wrestling that clashes, I think, a bit with what Aoyagi likes. So it'd be interesting to see what happens. And because I can't imagine that Go is just punching in, wrestling and punching out. He's got to have some sway, as I think, right?
I'm almost certain that that's true.
Well, look who they stuck in their dojo. You know?
Exactly. Same thing. Like, there's only one explanation for that. And So that would be interesting. Maybe it'll be a showdown between Aoyagi and Go. Whose vision will reign eternal in all Japan?
Oh, God. And so we move on to the 25th and their big show at Makuhari Messe International Exhibition Hall number 4 in front of 1,057 fans. And frankly, anytime that All Japan pulls 1,000 fans or more outside of Tokyo, I think is an accomplishment for them. This is a good, solid number.
Yeah, I don't think anybody could argue that.
It's in Chiba, so yeah. So the first match of the show, Ryuki Honda, Ren Ayabe, Ryo Inoue, and Ayato Yoshida defeated Yuma Anzai, Rising Hayato, Shota Kofuji, and Mr. Sato Naruki Doi in 14-16 with the cannon suplex from Inoue on Kofuji. Solid opener. And we could probably spend 20 minutes talking about what became of Ayato Yoshida and everything like that. Like whether it's Jin or his faded New Japan run that got destroyed by Taka Michinoku's lechery. You know, the guy has had bad timing.
Yeah, that is true. There's been times where Yoshida's looked a lot worse than now, to be fair. I will give him that. Yeah. I
mean, I don't see a lot of him since he turned heel, but it seems like the heel turn was also an excuse to be a little lazier.
That seems to happen a lot, actually, among heel turning wrestlers, particularly in Japan.
He's still fairly young. I mean, he's probably in his early 30s now.
Yeah, exactly. It's not old. That's the problem. It's just, I think that you're not gonna. There's only so high you could go in 2AW, I would say, and for some reason he doesn't want to go any higher. It seems like sometimes. That said, I will say this: the number was good. The crowd in attendance, I didn't think was that great, and the building itself, the optics are not
so
good.
Cavernous.
Yeah, it's not. It's not.
It's a bit. You go to a convention center and hold a show in the middle of the hall. That's it.
That seems like something I probably was wrestling at some point in my career. That seems like something I probably did. And it was probably bad when it happened. Not worse than wrestling at Chuck E. Cheese, which also did happen. But nevertheless, this was... the venue just wasn't that good, ultimately. And that did take a toll on a lot of these undercard matches, especially. But it was a good match. Like, look at all these guys. Like, it's not going to be bad with these 8 guys. And I guess unless Ayabe was in 100% of the time on his team. But that didn't happen. So it was good.
So we have, for the prestigious AJPW TV 6-man tag team titles, Suwama, Hideki Suzuki, and Dan Tamura defeated Hokuto Omori, Kumarashi, and Takashi in 11:01 with the backdrop suplex from Suwama on Omori. This is their failed 7th defense. Wow. And then so Baka no Jidai are the 12th champions. And Suwama is back in this company. I believe, was this supposed to be Kengo, and Kengo got sick?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, somebody got sick. Is it Kengo or Sato?
Oh, Sato. Sorry, Sato.
Yeah, I think it was Sato. Yeah.
Yeah. Now Suwama was a champion again in All Japan.
Yeah, does that mean they were going to win with Sato? And like Evolution?
I assume so.
Yeah.
Because you could have just had Dan eat the fall.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, but I mean, to be honest, even if Suwama, if this is going to be a short-term title reign, that's fine. Like, if Suwama is like, hey, I'll wrestle a few shows for you, at the end of the month, they could easily drop these again if they so wanted. I don't think anybody would deny at that.
I mean, these titles are meaningless, but honestly, this is like not a bad little team to hold them.
No, not at all. It's much better than Hideki and Suwama as a tag team by adding Tamura into the match.
The most ill-fated tag. If they had formed that tag team like 5 years earlier, it would have been like amazing.
Alas, that's not what happened, and what we got was kind of bad. So, yeah.
Special singles match. Musashi defeated Seki Yoshioka in 13-13 with La Magistral. I don't think this feud is over.
Good. Let them wrestle more. Just like I said earlier, I really hope Yoshioka. I hope it's not over because I want Yoshioka to get more shine. Like I don't want him to go and just be like, well, that's over with. So now we're we're gonna move Musashi up, and now Yoshioka is gonna be in the 6-man division with random people. Because they wrestled really good. I thought the match was like really strong, actually.
Oh yeah, for sure. Also, well, yes, I guess the only thing I would say is like that's why it just felt like there's going to be more. This didn't feel their junior title match actually felt quite definitive. Obviously, it got quite a bit of time, but this felt like such a finish. Like this is not over, and probably going to have more matches once the junior tag.
Yeah, I agree with you. There'll be more coming from these two, and I think we'll see them in the tournament as well, like in their teams battle it out.
Yeah. So Havoc versus Bakano Jidai. Go Shiozaki Shotaro Ashino defeated Daisuke Sekimoto and Kengo Mashimo in 1634 by referee stop. Ashino got Mashimo with the ankle lock, but the ref Mashimo did not like that because he argued with the ref. But Ashino had him completely trapped and couldn't escape, type thing. So the ref just ended it. What did you think of that finish? Like, why couldn't Mashimo just tap?
You have to protect Big Kengo. I think you don't understand that, but the president of All Japan understands. And Go understands that, and Yuma understands it. And they just knew that this was he's just too big. You cannot have him doing clean losses. Okay, in all honesty, I think that maybe they want this to continue too. Like, they consider this like an undefinitive finish and maybe run this back down the line. But I don't think there's that much gas left between these two. Like, I think that they could move on and do something else all around. And I mean, I like the Bakano Jidai team. Like, I have great nostalgia for both men.
Mm-hmm.
And and in this company, in and outside of All Japan. I think they've both done great things. But I don't think they're not knocking anyone's socks off at this point. Like, they're mid-card players to me. And, like, maybe a bunch, like, once in a while you can build them up to a major title shot. But really, I think their home is going to be in the mid-card scene. And I think Havoc has a lot more upside to them. So I hope that they move on to the third match. Again, you had 1-1, because they won the match earlier in the week. Yeah. And then maybe you could have a definitive finish there. And maybe that's a sign that they want to do that.
Yeah, for sure. That would set up, the next challenges for the tag titles are set. So a third match, these guys have time to have a third match to sort of set.
And that's a great undercard match. Like, have the title match and then this on. Yeah, exactly.
They need to run more things in the undercard. Like, just do more with the undercard.
Yeah.
More like programs that don't have titles involved and stuff like that, right?
Which it seemed like they took a step towards on this very show. Because you had 3 matches back to back with the junior match, the June build-up match, and then this.
Oh, we forgot to talk about June Seto versus Cyrus. I'm sorry.
I didn't forget. I just hoped you had moved on from it.
Well, no, I mean, I kept it relatively short at 11 minutes. I kind of feared that it would go longer. It was what I expected it to be. I don't have anything else to say about it, right?
And like I said, I don't want to sit here and say that a match with Cyrus wasn't that good. But I do think it wasn't that good. I do have to say.
Well, I think the biggest problem to me was like, look, if they had cut a few minutes off when Cyrus was just dragging June around outside the ring, it would have been a lot better.
I wonder what wrestling would look like if there was a universal rule implied, like agreed upon by all bookers and wrestlers at the same time, where it's like, you cannot go out of the ring or brawl into the crowd anymore. Like, that is now against the law.
I would shave off 5 minutes from every Kento Miyahara match.
That is true. But I think, like I said, I think a lot of people would be lost without it. Not just him, like a ton of wrestlers would be like, what? How can we wrestle these matches now on here?
Because it's like the same thing as, and Anzai's adopted this too. They both have them outside the ring in the first 5 to 10 minutes of the match spot. Kento's got the headbutts, and then Anzai's got that flying forearm over the barrier.
Now that at least looks cool. But
yeah,
and in New Japan, every single wrestler spot is to throw guys into the chairs, into the crowd. Like, find an empty spot and throw people into the chairs. Like, I've seen it 1 million times on here. So
the only good outside brawling was Business Tag versus the Saitos.
That was great. Yeah, that's where a lot of people. I was one of the one. I may have been the only one that actually liked the Saito brothers basically their whole career. Their young run, like as rookie wrestlers, I thought, like, okay, they're bringing something different. The sumo style is really used here, And I was more higher on them than a lot of people. But then finally, in that match happened, it finally clicked with me. And even by that point, though, when they did do the Voodoo Murders reunion, I was out on that.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I was like, okay, no, I can't defend this ever. And but then that came back. Like once they did that brawling match, everybody liked them, and they went off to the races. And that's the man you want to get rid of, Gerard, the one who saved the Saito brothers' career.
I think that we need the Saitos as a tag team back.
Yeah,
because I feel June has. It's weird to say this, and I was saying this before because I was recording with Fred Moreland, and who's on the good, the bad, and the oh my god,
the Hungy.
Yeah, the Hungy. Sorry, he was just. And they do every year like a promotional thing. Where they just go through all these different promotions. And I talked about All Japan No and DDT. I did this just a couple of days ago. And I admitted, and I think I might have even said this before, but it's just fresh in my mind from that. I actually think that June got better as the Triple Crown reign went along. It's just that it was too long in the tooth already by the time he was starting to improve. Mm-hmm. And I did like the Go match. So, but at the same time, I don't think he deserves another chance at the Triple Crown right now or anytime soon. So please just give me the tag team back.
It just feels like it's too soon, in my opinion. Like, we haven't had enough time to miss you yet in this Triple Crown scene. But maybe that's where we're headed. Although, with the Carnival coming up in a couple of months, we'll have to deal with that a little bit. But after that, that's when the tag team will be fully informed.
Yeah. So semi-main event for the PWF World Junior Heavyweight Championship. Seigo Tachibana defeated Atsuki Aoyagi in 27-10 with the Yankee Hammer. Atsuki falls on his 5th defense, and Tachibana is the 73rd champion. And my God, this came out of nowhere because it's been very long that the semi-main or the junior match is the longest match of the show. And I think we've both commented about how Atsuki has become way too formulaic in his title matches. You needed someone like Seigo to push that a bit, and this was like the best match of the reign, and it was great. And I guess it's the best match of All Japan this year so far. I think that's fair to say.
I freaking love this match. I thought it was so good. I totally agree with your statement. That's the match of the year of the company so far. And me and Strickland, we got into a little bit of argument on our show about it because he was kind of downplaying it. It was like it went too long. But actually, I don't think it did. I think they utilized, for the exact reason you brought up, that we felt. Because Aoyagi's been so formulaic, we had somebody to take him out of his waters and turn it into more of his match. And Aoyagi was down for it, to his credit. Like, he went along with this ride, and they really made it work into something like that felt very unique, very special, and great. I think this division is really on point right now. And I made a comment last year at some point that I felt it was the best the junior division has been in All Japan. I got some blowback from my good friend Irv on that one. He was like, no, wait a minute. What about this run? And,
stars.
Yeah, and I do gotta say, like, he might be right on that one. Like, he might have been right. That era was great in its own right as well. You had a lot of good stuff going on then, but I would say this is a very close second to that, at least. Like, where we're at right now, I think the division's in very healthy shape, and this match was awesome. Like you said, when's the last time it's been the longest match on the show for this style of match, above a Triple Crown match? And it was great. Like I said, the work was awesome. The style of the match, the pacing was on point, and I thought everything about it was an amazing match. Definitely, highly recommend watching it if you haven't yet.
Yeah, and that's a good. I mean, this was the one thing when the crowd was hot.
Yep.
This cavern and everything like that, and it just was a feel good moment. And I hope, I just hope that it's not like 1 month later, like Hayato beats Tachibana for the match.
I said that exact thing on the show. It's like, man, I really hope that. I hope that doesn't. This isn't a bridge title reign, even though it kind of does feel like that. I'm not going to lie.
Well, the thing is, he's not a contracted wrestler, right?
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, he's with Jiro's group. On there. Yeah, Uptown. Hey, that's going to be in the tournament, right? That Nosawa's putting together, his Mark tournament that he's doing. So maybe we could get him on that, maybe like a Wrestle Universe Seigo coming forward. But probably not. It'll probably be Jiro again.
Yes.
Yeah. So which is a big downgrade, but yeah, I do agree with what you said. Ultimately, whatever comes of this, this was a genuine surprise. I don't think anybody expected, Seigo to beat Atsuki here. And it turned out that it worked out. It got a great reaction. And again, it got a great reaction to me because I legit wasn't expecting it. And I'm sure you felt the same way. So everything about it was very, very strong.
Yes. And so we go to the main event. Kento Miyahara defeated Talos in 22-16 with a shutdown German suplex hold to make his 4th defense of the title. It's crazy to think it's already 4 defenses.
Yeah, I know.
His title reign doesn't feel like it's been going that long, but it's actually been going since September.
He's a fighting champion.
He's a fighting, well,
who also turns down multiple title shots. It is
yeah. I don't know. This went too long, but there was some really fun stuff in it. And like Talos deserves credit for his like bumping for a man of his size. You know, he takes a few big bumps per match in some big spots. Like I got to give this like a 3.25, maybe a 3.5 if I'm feeling generous. But it had its limitations, but it was still a lot of fun at points. But you could have shaved like 5 minutes off of it.
I honestly liked this match. I thought,
okay.
Now there were, I'm not going to lie, there were moments where, again, Talos, for as much as we like him, I think it's fair to say his arsenal might be a little bit limited for a main event title match. Yeah, so I totally understand why the comment that it might be a little bit long, and it was. It would have been better if they had cut some time off of it. Mm-hmm. But I think ultimately, when they finally, I would say this match was better than the sum of its parts in a lot of ways. Because if you look at the opening part, I thought they started off and they were really trying to do a kind of Kento charisma type of match, type of to really draw the crowd in. And then the middle part, it felt like they were a little lost almost at times. They just didn't have enough to fill out Talos taking control. But then when we got to the finishing stretch, it's like everything came together and it got awesome. Like all of a sudden.
That blackout knee to Talos' knee was great.
That was great. And then Talos, when he punched him in the head, what a random move. But great at the time. And then, Kento doing the blackout knee.
Big Show.
Yes, absolutely. Big inspiration there from Paul White. No more BS in All Japan, he said here. And what you mentioned with the blackout to the knee was awesome. Set up a great finishing stretch. And then when he hit the blackout, or the shutdown German at the end, that was great. I mean, I think there was legitimate question if he would be able to hit it on a guy that was 7 feet tall. But by God, he got that big bastard. And I say big bastard in loving terms because I do like you a lot, Talos. But he got that big bastard over his head and won the match. And it felt awesome. Like a really triumphant win for a guy who really feels like, more than pretty much anybody else in wrestling right now, he feels like the champion. And so I liked it. Again, there was rough parts. I'm not going to say it was a flawless match at all. But by the end, I liked it. I thought it was a successful title defense. Both in him winning, but also aesthetically, in my opinion.
So then Jun Saito came out, which...
this is where the praise ends.
Too soon.
Yeah.
And he challenged, and Kento was like, no, I don't want to. But then the company announced that on February 23rd, on the board gym, they're going to do the match. And then Kento was like on X and social media being like, I didn't agree to this.
Yeah, that was funny. He's like, well, they didn't ask the champion about this match, did they? On there. What a weird... Like I said, because if you look at the reality, he is a fighting champion based on the history of the title. But then his storyline is that he's ducking challengers because they tried to do a similar thing with Talos in the first place. So what is this gimmick? Like a fighting champion who ducks challengers. It's new. Like it's something new. I will say that. But I don't know. It feels like, too, honestly, I don't think this is any, because I saw people in the Discord speculate on if this was like a heel turn,
right?
Maybe like, bubbling up.
Yeah,
and I don't believe
speculated many times.
Yeah, I don't think that at all. I think this to me feels like something he has come up with on his own to basically amuse himself, like in a lot of ways. And it's not going to have any bearing on the matches, which it hasn't. Like, we literally know that it hasn't because it's like, he said that, and then they're going to do the match anyway. And I feel like this could be a funny type of gimmick. Kind of like, remember when Sonata in New Japan, every time he'd go to a city, he'd be like, this is my favorite town in the world.
Oh, and is that when everyone had their, like, cell phone screens out or lights on and stuff?
Yeah, it didn't play into any actual story, but it was just something funny that he could do. And that's kind of how I feel like this is for Kento. This is his gimmick that he's going to pull out and, it'll be something we expect, but then they have the matches anyway. like no matter who it is. And it could lead to a funny moment if they give him a weak challenger, like Omori, and he's like, no way. Like, I'm not doing this. Which he'd be right if he'd say, no, you are not qualified to challenge for this title, Hokuto. You just lost the trios title, 6-man titles, and you lose. But yeah, no, it's good though. Like, I just wish that they, like you said, they had held off on the June.
Yeah, well, so, I mean, there's no chance that June's winning this, right? I think we're safe.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Kento has got the belt. But, I mean...
I think this is just a case of Yuma Aoyagi is suspended. They don't want... You can't go back to Anzai, and then Ashino and Go are doing whatever they're doing in their tag team. You know what I would have done? Maybe instead, have Cyrus beat June and just have Kento fight the monsters.
That would work. Like, I would enjoy that.
I don't think you could do Cyrus versus Kento at the main event of Oda Ward, unless you would really worked on heating up Cyrus for 6 months.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think ultimately June is a logical play. It's just not an exciting one as a fan.
No.
Yeah.
And given the time thing, Kento could fit in one more defense in March before the carnival, and I wonder who that's going to be.
Yeah, good question.
I mean, I was thinking Ashino. They've never really run that match. Or maybe they did once, right? That's a match that hasn't been done that much.
If maybe they keep giving this tag team a strong push with Ashino and Go, that could be a good build-up, to give him a singles match heading into the carnival.
Yeah.
I can get behind that.
For sure.
Yeah.
So we've got a few shows coming up for All Japan. They have their annual show in Okinawa coming up on the 1st this weekend. And I wonder if that's going to be live, because that's actually starting at midnight my time, but I could also see it if it's not, because it's in Okinawa.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'll have to check. But this has got a good looking card, all things considered. Shota Kafuji versus Seki Yoshioka opening match.
Right.
Second match, not so great. Musashi versus Cyrus versus Aizawa #1.
What?
Yeah. We got Go and Ashino versus Honda and Hayato.
That could be good.
We've got Atsuki Aoyagi versus Shisha Mask.
Who could this be? The Shisa Mask.
No clue.
It's not super. Is it?
No, it's not.
I wish it was.
I believe it's someone who's also a tiger.
Oh, okay.
It's Izanagi. I think.
No, it can't be Izanagi.
It has been in the past, hasn't it?
Maybe, but what happened to him? What has he been doing? In
the
Osaka Pro.
Yeah. The graphic picture of him, it looks like when he was him.
Okay.
It was Izanagi, so I assume it's him. I don't know.
Bring it on.
I mean, it's funny because Nozawa's nowhere around these days, so he could come.
Big changes ahead.
We've got a preliminary 6-man Triple Crown skirmish here. Kento, Hideki, and Dan versus Jun Saito, Yuma Anzai, and Ryo Inoue. That could be good.
Yeah, interesting mismatch there, but it could be a lot of fun.
Okay, I said this was a good card. Here's the main event, though. Ren Ayabe and Talos defend the World Tag Team titles against Hokuto Omori and Kuma Arashi.
Well, you said you liked Kuma, so this is your match, Gerard.
Look, with all due respect, because I think Omori can prove that he can be a good wrestler, I really like that Triple Crown match against Kento back in October. I think that was the best singles match of Hokuto's career.
Yeah,
they're not necessarily guys that can carry more limited opponents, though.
Yeah, and when Omori challenged Aoyagi the first time when Yuma was champion, they had a good yeah. So we somewhere in Hokuto Omori is a good wrestler, and he was my guy when he was a rookie. I thought he was great. Somewhere along the line, things have changed. However, I do have to. And Kuma, I've never loved too much, so we'll see how it goes. This is going to be Talos's big test here. If he can get a great match here, then we know he has to win some kind of award next year. I'm going to rig the awards for him if that happens in 2020.
And then on the 11th of February at Fuji City General Gymnasium, it is just a spot show. So it's like Shota Kafuji versus Kumarashi, Hokuto Omori versus Jiro. Oh,
oh no.
That is popping light. We got Go Shiozaki and Shitaro Ashino versus Yuma Anzai and Dan Tamura.
That sounds promising.
Yes. We've got a Junior Tag Festival 6-man warm-up match. It's Atsuki Aoyagi, Rising Hayato, and Musashi versus Seki Yoshioka, Ryo Inoue, and Yuya Susumu.
No, no. Why?
This is
Why
like
is he here?
This is like the biggest misstep that All Japan has made this year, bringing in Susumu for the junior tag tournament.
And where was he at? Like even Noah was like, no, like this guy's not cutting it.
Yeah,
And that was like
exactly.
that was like years ago.
Yeah, and then he's he in Freedom still.
Well, he had somewhere to go to. He had to fall back on.
So we got Renayabe and Talos versus Hideki and Seigo Tachibana. This feels like a match that Hideki is not going to try.
Yeah, I could totally see that happening. Where we get lazy Hideki here.
And then we have the most anticlimactic Triple Crown skirmish ever, because it's Kento Miyahara and Ryuki Honda versus Jun Saito and Senor Saito.
Gee, I wonder who's gonna take the fall in that match. A lot of drama.
I know. And then on the 15th, like 8 days before their Oda Ward Gym show, they've got a Cork and Hall show. So I don't think this is going to draw very well. Because all they've announced so far is the first round matches of the junior tag tournament. So you've got Atsuki and Hayato versus Abe and Tachibana. And then you have Inoue and Mochizuki Jr. versus Mr. Saito and Senor Saito. So at least Inoue and Mochizuki will live to fight another day, I think.
Yes, we can count on them moving on.
If they wanted to be really bold, they have Atsuki and Hayato go out in the first round.
That would kind of be a brave signal.
But maybe you want to keep them for the finals against Inoue and Mochizuki. I don't know.
I think that's the best possible final you can get too.
Yeah. And then on the 23rd, which is a holiday Monday, and this starts at midnight Eastern time. So that's a reasonable show at 11 p.m. for you, Dylan. So that's something that I'm going to watch live. We've got Ray Seto's return match, and it's just listed as Ray Seto versus no one yet to be announced, because obviously his brother has a singles match elsewhere. Another first round tag tournament match, Musashi and Shota Kufuji versus Seki Yoshioka and Yuya Susumu. And I'm sorry, but I think Kofuji's getting pinned here.
Yeah, me too.
And then for the next tournament, first round, we got Dan Tamura and Hikaru Sato versus Kota Sekafuda and Toshiyuki Sakuda. And honestly, I'm feeling like you got to do the surprise stuff, and you have Sekafuda and Sakuda beat Dan and Hikaru.
Yeah, I mean, you have like beating Sato is no problem, like with All Japan if they wanted. And I like Sekafuda a lot, and I have no problem with him moving on.
Yes. And then we've got Gaora TV Championship, Daisuke Sekimoto versus Kuma Arashi. So this is what they're building up Kuma for. Now, given that this is the very prestigious Gaora TV title, Dylan, and given how much they've been building up challengers, given that sometimes they'll just announce a challenger that has like not wrestled in the company in like 2 years coming in back to challenge for this title, do you think that Kuma Arashi actually has a chance?
Well,
but it's the V1 for Sekimoto, which makes me skeptical. But it's like they really like worked hard to set up Arashi for this,
and I think that's admirable. I think this is a good this is a good spot for him.
It is.
Yeah, so it's a good spot for Sekimoto too. Again, I think this is about where he maxes out for a regular role. Like I think if Well, what I was going to say is, I'm happy that Sekimoto's here. Although I think this Gaora TV title run and beating Ashino was the price of Sekimoto, like being a regular in All Japan. Probably wanted a title run of some kind. Yeah, Ashino always gets a bad stick in this company.
Yeah, but look. Daisuke, all will be forgiven if you shepherd Yuya Aoki over.
That's true. That's what we called for earlier, and he may be the key to making this happen. Put Aoki in the Champion Carnival.
And then in the main event, we've got Kento Miyahara versus Jun Saito. And will the Triple Crown curse continue between these two, where their Champion Carnival matches are better than their Triple Crown matches? We shall see.
Well, like I said, it's not that exciting to me, but hopefully Kento's on a really good run right now, I would say.
Kento's on a good run, and I do think Jun has improved. So I don't really have high expectations, but I think that I could be surprised. We'll see.
This is a chance to prove those words accurate.
Yeah. I mean, if Jun ever wants to be Triple Crown champion again, he needs to show that he continues to improve, basically.
Yeah.
I think that's the key thing.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Oh, I just realized that I missed some Noah previews. So obviously we've got the upcoming on I believe it's the 6th. We've got the Mystery Allied quote unquote, or the Tranquilos de Japan versus Kenta Hada and Endo, and we got Yoshiki Inamura versus Takashi Sugera, and we already went over what's going to happen with that. And then Noah's got their junior tournament coming up. Now, what do you think about that Noah junior tournament?
Not as good as the All Japan one, but I like it.
Yeah.
On paper, like.
Well, I mean, you've got your Amaska and Black Mesa Ray.
Yeah.
versus True and Lacey, so we could figure out who's going to win there. I like them enough, and they deserve another shot, I think. We've got Kotoki and Hiroki versus Tadasuke and Jun Masaoka.
I like Masaoka.
Yeah, but I assume the Team 2000X team's going to win. And then
me too.
We got Daka and Daiki Odashima versus Ada and Katsumi Inabata. And we've got Dragon Bane and Alejandro versus Alpha Wolf and Kai Fujimura.
Yeah, like I said, it's not as good as the All Japan one, but I do like it. Like I like
Yeah. Yeah. The thing is that this is on paper, I think, pretty good. I just think that the booking could totally just be completely crazy and ridiculous, and that's going to harm it.
And this is a league.
Yeah.
Yeah, so everyone's going to end up wrestling everybody, pretty much. I don't really have a ton of, anything crazy in there. And who do you have winning the tournament?
Bane and Alejandro.
Yeah, I think that makes the most sense. It kind of gives him revenge for Alpha Wolf turning on him.
Yeah. So, last thing, Dylan, I made my prediction for this year that Noah would, this was very harsh, maybe too harsh, but Noah would win the worst promotion of the year by February. Do you think I'm correct in that?
No, that's over dramatic.
That was so dramatic.
Yeah.
I made that prediction to Rich like just a couple days after January 1st. Like, you have to understand the state of mind I was in.
I understand. After watching that show, I can understand why you were feeling that way. But there's a lot of companies, though. If you wanted to really deep dive, I bet we could easily find worse companies. Like, what about Dove Pro?
What about Dove Pro?
Yeah, a question many have asked over the time for various reasons.
I think it's not that All Japan doesn't have its weaknesses, like going to Jun Seto versus Kento again, but I still think that they're in a better trajectory right now than Noah, and have been for this year.
What about Glate? Like, if they go out of business, would they count as a first worst company?
No, because they're not bad. Their booking is stupid, though.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like that statement. It's a very weird company where nothing happens.
Ito had to injure someone to get a big win.
That's true. Unfortunately,
and honestly, I haven't seen it and I gotta watch it. But I think Lindemann versus Soma could be a good match.
Yeah, me too.
Check the reviews on it or anything at all. So
I wasn't thrilled with Lindemann's first title run in Glade. But
I know you went on. I remember you went on this big, long discussion of like why Lindemann's once on audio, and it was like a long thing. You said all the reasons why Lindemann's title run was disappointing. Because also, I think that when he did that, that's when he was in the Best of the Super.
Yeah. Yeah, that was my big complaint. Pretty much is that he would go to New Japan and they book him like I think he was literally tied for last in his division or whatever, his block that year, for the junior tournament in New Japan, and he was champion at the time. And it's like, dude, what? So that very much annoyed me, that whole thing. But I don't know. And ever since he lost the title, it feels like he's been a ghost. Like the last 2 years, watching him, he's felt very under. His motivation level may not have been very high, but as champion, maybe he'll get some of that shine back. And I like Soma. So yeah, Glade's okay. We'll see. I don't think they'll win worst of the year, even if they shut down. But yeah, I agree with you though. All Japan's better than Noah right now, but I don't think Noah's been that bad to where I can be like, I've honestly had years where I was much more irritated at them. Actually, where I was like, things were a lot worse in my mind. I do think they really need to do something about this world title scene. Just because.
Look, we should talk about this once they run Sugera versus Inamura, because it would be third straight Team 2000X bullshit type thing in a row, and that's gonna really grate on me.
Who will be the one to attack Keno after the match when he comes out to challenge? Which member of Team 2000X?
Could just be third time's a charm for Keno.
Or Yoshitatsu drops him and declares he's coming back for a title shot.
There you go. They should tease that just to see how the crowd reacts.
That would actually be awesome, and that's when Keno like fires back. Like Yoshitatsu tries to attack him, and it looks like he's about to do the same thing again, but then Keno gets up and beats the crap out of Yoshitatsu and gets his title shot.
For sure. All right, Dylan, thank you so much for coming on and filling in. This is greatly appreciated, and I'm glad that we could talk about everything going on and sort of the state of these two companies. So get in your plugs.
If nothing else, I'm always reliable, and I'm always here for you. I want you to know that. Anytime you need
Amazing.
me.
I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, and I love being on. I love talking to all of the Emerald Flow Show fans out there, and hopefully everybody enjoys my appearances, whether it's this time, last time, or the next time. I'm certain I'll be back at some point. And like I said, you've helped me out a lot too over the years. I love doing our Hall of Fame shows together.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I always want us to do something on the regular show too. Like we just need to find something that's outside of this lane, like your Flow Show lane.
We should watch some aughts wrestling.
Yeah, no, I'd love to do that actually. Yeah, now we were going to do the 2000s project, but all of the videos have disappeared online. Like that's the problem. Like it's very hard.
I mean, I could come up with a list from the aughts pretty easily, though.
Me too. But
watching them would be helpful.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can make a list, but yeah, I would like to watch these too before we do them. So yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll do something for sure. I promise. I told you off the air I have a project in mind that's going to be pretty major, and I will have you in part of that in some form or fashion. Anyway, check me out on the Eastern Lariat. We just had our award show. A lot of great voters happened. We had a ton of votes, and it all came together for a great class, I thought. The year of Saya Kamatani was not just for Tokyo Sports. It was also in the Eastern Lariat Awards. And it was a big deal. Everybody loved it. We got the support of a band, like a real-life band of Ses Todera, who was like freaking awesome, actually, to deal with. And I liked their song, too. And a lot of the fans liked it, too. So that was really cool. And we have a new episode, too, that's after that, where we talked about a lot of stuff happening in New Japan. We went on a big Dragon Gate run. We talked about DDT. We talked about Noah for like 2 minutes, maybe. Like that was the most I could get out of Striga. And,
You're really not liking Noah, eh?
No. And I knew I already know he doesn't.
Is it Team 2000X-itis?
I think he was against Noah before that, actually. Even because I remember he was there live last year, the 2025 New Year show, like January 1st that year. And a lot of people liked that when Ozawa won the title, and he came back and I was like, "Hey, man, finally Noah, new champion. Ozawa's hot." And he's like, "That show sucked. I hated being there for that." And so he's I don't know what his thing is, but one day I'm gonna win him over again. I'm gonna make him like Noah. Maybe not now with Smack Daddy as champion, but when Keno wins the belt back, I know he'll be won over again.
Well, it's funny that you say Striga was there for the 2025 Noah the New Year, because Paul gets stuck at the bad Noah the New Year shows. He was for Kota Ibushi, and he was there for Ozawa versus Inamura.
Maybe that's where it all started. That Ibushi and Marufuji match was so bad, and like Striga's love died on that day. It's the same thing, Gerard. If you truly love somebody, and then they break your heart, it's hard to get that back, at the end of the day. Sure. And I think that's the same thing with Striga and Noah. Like, he once loved them, and they broke his heart. Probably before that. It may have been during the Muto title reign, because he didn't like that either. And I hated that too, to be fair. But regardless, besides Noah, we talk about all the companies, including Joshi. I did the Patreon. I did Marigold review for Mayu Iwatani's 15th anniversary show, which is really not that great of a show, actually, but I did like a couple of matches on the show. So that was cool. Lots of cool stuff coming ahead for the Eastern Lariat. I do Wrestle Update, which is a show about American wrestling with my friend Nello De Angelis. We do a lot of cool stuff there for a cage match, and that's when I get dragged into watching these American wrestling shows, which I don't really like a lot of the time. And we're gonna have Lucha Talk had its last episode, but I'm going to debut a new Lucha show coming up soon. Microman.
Oh, okay, exciting.
Yeah, so it's gonna be something
now's
new.
the time to get in on the Lucha podcast market.
Yeah, in Lucha Talk, we would do it every once in a while, but
Yeah.
after the pandemic happened and Fredo, he just lost. Speaking of somebody losing love, he kind of dropped off. So we kind of did our thing every month. We do a different show, but we're gonna really reboot. You know, it's gonna be a reboot. You know, right now.
Well, I'm looking forward to all your reviews of AAA on Fox.
AAA, yeah, AAA Fox Latin America. You got to get it right, Gerard. Yeah, big difference.
No, but is it really just going to be a CMLL quad?
No. We talk about AAA
okay.
too.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Listen, I'll be honest. The problem is now, I'm not saying it's good at all, but if you compare it to like 2018 AAA, when Vampiro was booking, like that was like some of the worst stuff I've ever seen.
Or Pandemic AAA?
I think I may have dropped off of that actually. We stopped doing
I
that
watched
for a few
a couple
years.
of things. There was some really bad stuff, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure I watched some stuff, but I've blocked it out of my mind, and it definitely wasn't a regular viewing. But yeah, we'll cover AAA too on there. As stupid as AAA. Again, AAA's always been bad though. Like that's the thing. It didn't just start being bad now.
The beginning.
Yeah, except for the beginning when you had a bunch of great stars like El Solar was there and Blue Panther and Io Santo, and then everybody left and it became the company of like Cibernetico and Lucetta and all kinds of bad stuff that happened. So yeah, we'll cover Lucha. That'll be a lot of fun. But most importantly, I hope everybody out there is just having fun watching wrestling wherever you get it, whether it's Mexico, Japan, America, even Europe, maybe even Australia. You could watch. There's good stuff all over the world, and I hope everybody's having fun with that.
All right. Thanks, Dylan. So we'll be back in about a couple of weeks for our 100th episode, and you'll hear all about Paul's trip to Japan because he's been telling me a few things. So he's got a lot of stories, so you can look forward to that. But until then, enjoy all the wrestling out there. Bye.
Hello, Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network listeners. I am Jeff Hawkins, co-host of Shake Them Ropes, with a very special announcement. If it's been a while or you've never listened to us before, the original gang is back. Myself and Rob McCarran, back talking wrestling. We have no idea where this show's going to go, where we're going to keep any of the old bits or any of the old things in there. It's going to be a process. It's going to be a journey, and we'd like for you to come along with us. Only on Shake Them Ropes on the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network.